Hey guys, we're here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I flew out 3 people, randomly put on my Instagram stories and said, hey, come visit properties with me. And look who, hey, did you guys learn anything? Yes. Was that good? Yeah. Okay, so we just went through a walkthrough of the property. I want you guys to watch that, kind of figure out whether this is a deal that you would buy or not. Make a comment down below and tell us, is this something you would go raise 400 grand for? Because I wouldn't put 400 grand of my own money into this. I would actually go raise it. So if you guys would do that, make a comment down below. Is it a deal? Is it not a deal? And maybe for some extra bonus points in the comments, tell me why I would buy a deal like this, even if it doesn't make the kind of money that I would want it to. All right, Gio.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna walk us through, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the studios first. All these 4
I thought you wanted us to see the ugliest one first. We want to start with the ugliest one first, right? Okay, let's do the ugliest. Did you just unscrew it just now? What's the likelihood that somebody's in here? 80%?
Hopefully this 190. That one.
All right, so we got Gio here. You know this is gonna be a good walkthrough and you have to use pliers to get into the property and also a drill. And then we've got Mandisa from PadSplit. This is your territory. You run this town, right?
I love this town, yes.
Okay.
Power tools.
These are the best walkthroughs right now.
You got to keep checking on how many bolts are missing. Luciano, you're the contractor in Vegas that I should rely on. I got 2 other houses we're going to today. I wonder if I already have contractors working on them. We should get you working on them. What are your thoughts on this property? Or how many tenants can I get in these 12 units?
So it could either be 16, but Luciano drew it out to where you're converting the studios, right? And so it would be 24.
It would be 2 bedrooms, and then each of the 1-in-1s would be 2 bedrooms also. So you'd be what?
24.
24.
So I get 24 in here.
You could do 24, you could do 16.
Why would I do 16? Why would that even be an option?
16, you're keeping the studios as is, giving people back a little bit of their privacy. So even if they can't afford their own single family home, they have a studio that they can come to. We're still breaking down the payments and you're able to ask for a higher weekly rate.
Okay, so I could ask for a higher weekly rate on the studios. However, I could have 2 people in the studios. And you obviously understand PadSplit's regulation, so there's enough space.
There's enough space to put 2 bedrooms in each studio.
Which one would I make more money on?
It's about the same.
It's about the same.
It's about the same.
His would be slightly a little bit better, maybe 5% more.
Oh, I don't know that that's worth it. So how many studios do I have?
I believe 4.
So I have 4 studios, and then I have 8 one-bedrooms.
Yeah.
So we would take the 8 one-bedrooms.
Turn them into 2 bedrooms.
So I'd have 16. So I'd have 20 units instead of 24. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Oh my gosh. Do you see how hard it is to open these doors? This is great. Just kick it in, dude. We don't have the keys? This is a guaranteed, you know what's funny? Is you could take 3 hours to try and get in here, and a crack addict is gonna take 13 seconds. So from a renting standpoint, I guess that's the question, right? Like, let's say that I put it on the property, I've got 20, I take the other 10 units. No. I take the 8 units and I convert those to 16 bedrooms. Lower rate, probably easier to fill at that lower rate, right?
It would be, yeah.
Would it be easier to fill the studios?
It's easy to fill the studios. The 4 suites that we have, they've been fully booked since we've had them. They're right over there in what's called Naked City, and they're getting a rate of $349. So
Naked City?
City,
that's
yeah.
such a freaking
Vegas thing.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, Naked City.
So it's a very comparable neighborhood. And so if we did the same thing over here, we can attract people who live and work over here, who want to live here and they work over here, and still get the same amount of money. So there was that thinking. And then also I was thinking for long-term member experience, as we grow more and more, there's going to be, a house over here, a house over here, a house over here. Is someone really going to want to stay in a smaller space for around the same amount for 9 to 12 months, as opposed to I have this bigger space, I can kind of set up shop and save for my forever home or just my next step in life.
So are you saying your argument is to stay with keep the 4 studios as they are?
I would say that, yes.
Okay, and then take the other 8 units and turn those into 16. Got it. So who knows the layout? All the people actually know the layout or are trying to figure out how to open up one door. Hold on, this is great. This is like, how many people does it take to open up one door? It's a great photo. Okay, keep going, I'm sorry. Okay, so I got 8 units that are 1 bed, 1 bath. They need to be renovated anyway, like all of them, right? They need new flooring, new kitchens.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's where I think the budget is way under where it needs to be.
So that was the other point with the studios. If you're leaving the studios as is, you're just doing some more cosmetic type changes. Here, there's going to be, wow, my contractor, everybody. So here you're making 1 kitchen and you're only converting, the 1-1s instead of the studios. So that takes out a large portion of the cost.
2 hours later.
Are we still trying to get in here? Guys, just kick in the door.
I called you in a second.
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Bourne.
Hello? Anybody in here? Hey, Kevin, got you a gift right here, bro. Okay, so the thing here is everything needs to be renovated. This isn't just like, let me paint. This is like, you got plumbing issues, the shower needs to be completely redone. You see how it's like caulked at the bottom of the toilet? They're just trying to cover up a leak that's in there. All the closets need to be redone. New windows, there's no lighting in here. The only light that's in here is actually that light, so you gotta add can lights. Hey guys, I've got Mandisa from PadSplit with me. You're currently watching a walkthrough of the property, but I wanna give you guys something pretty special. We did a training, what was that, like a month ago?
Yes, we did.
And who else was in the training?
There was everybody, all the great SubTo people. There was Nick Bowers.
Nick Bowers was with us.
Molly
and
was there.
We had like 800 people on this Zoom. It was absolutely unbelievable. It was like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And it breaks down what PadSplit is all about and what they're doing to change the entire landscape of real estate in terms of affordability. So if you guys want that training, it's down in the description down below. Take a moment, save it to your computer, watch it later after you watch this YouTube video. So you're thinking this turns into a 2-1. This is a 1-bedroom, yeah. So you're thinking what we do here, keep the little kitchen, but we close a portion of this off. What are your thoughts?
So this would be where we put the one, and then we have to move the kitchen over to that side of the wall.
And expand that?
Yeah, so that we can put a door in this back corner so that everybody can access that bathroom. And then the vanity in the bathroom goes to the exterior wall also, so we can put that door.
Okay, so the original estimate that I got will not cover all that. Because they were like, oh, it's like 10,000 a unit. I'm like, you ain't doing all that for 10 grand in here.
I think I put it in 12.
New
12
kitchen, new countertop.
Or the kitchen would just be relocated over there.
Yeah, but you're not gonna wanna keep that.
Well, yeah, not this one.
Here's what will end up happening here. Let's imagine, the way I would want you to think about this is that since you're already doing the renovation, it's like I'd rather make sure you add an extra 2 or 3 grand per unit to go, we're gonna need new windows in every unit. I would finish scraping the popcorn because that's just stupid. Yeah. I would also add can lights and the cheap like $6 can light ones. Yeah. All the kitchens need to be removed. Even the flooring. Get rid of all the tiles. So a lot more demo than you're probably thinking. Yeah. So this one would be the whole floor plan would be reconfigured, and then when you're reconfiguring, now you've got plumbing, you've got some electrical. Yeah. You're going to do all new outlets. Basically, you got to refresh the whole entire thing. There's nothing in here that's going to stay. Right? Nothing. Like nothing in here is going to stay. This is the worst one. Well,
This is the worst one.
This is the funny thing is like it doesn't matter how bad this one is. They all have to be completely renovated. Like even if this tile's got to go. All right, show me another one. Let's see another one. The other problem is there's no air conditioning in any of these units. They're all window units. Okay, this one doesn't need a lot. So Mandisa, is this one cute enough that I could rent this as is? Like what about the drywall, the weird drywall and the fact there's only one light in here? Like I would need to dress this up, right?
A little bit. You would have to do some cosmetic changes to this.
Like what? Tell me specifically. What would you do?
You'd probably have to refresh the paint. I would put a ceiling fan in just because it's Vegas. It gets really, really hot. I would make sure that smoke detector is working. I would probably.
So you wouldn't change the cabinets or the countertops? Maybe. What about the appliance?
That's fine. We just need a fridge to go right here. Change that light.
On PadSplit, how much could I rent this one for?
What are we doing to this one?
If I left this as is and just refreshed it, put 5 grand into it.
I would say about 310, up to 349.
A week.
A week.
You guys think in weeks, I think in months. Okay, so let's say I go 2 bed, 1 bath for the 8 units. And on the single studios, I keep them as studios. What's my total income? Before the 10% vacancy, before their 15%, what's my total income?
5332.
How much?
5332. That's it, running on a 310.
That's per week.
No, this is per month.
Okay, so we've got, my gross monthly income here is $18,528. You take your 10% off of that, you're at $200,000 a year. After their commissions of 15%, you're at $170. Okay, great. So at $170, what's my payments to the seller or to the SubTo loan? So 85 grand. So I'm left with roughly 85 grand, but then I got to pay utilities, I got to pay maintenance, right? So let's cut that in half. So basically, yeah, I'll have like $4,000 a month in utilities, probably something like utilities and shit. So my true net income on this property is 4 grand a month. Okay, so not as much as you would think because you got utilities, which is not in here, right?
Yeah, I don't have utilities here.
Yeah, so I got to pay for utilities, and I have to pay for a maintenance guy. Nothing against people that live in this area, but like they just live a different way, right? It's like they don't just open the door; they beat their door down, right? They don't clean their stove, so it's like your stoves are going to be replaced more frequently. Things are going to happen more often. You're probably $4,000 a month between utilities and bullshit. So that means $4,000 a month. And my cash outlay, the way you guys have it laid out, is how much?
23%.
No. Yeah, but you also have it as that. So my cash outlay is $255 plus $100,000 rehab. This won't be $100,000 rehab. This will be $200,000. This is why you fly out to properties like this, because it's like the second you get, you're like, nope. Because it's more than just the property. It needs new roofs, doesn't have air conditioning units. Like you need new windows, you need a whole bunch of stuff. Like this is, the total cost to get this property up and going is probably $400,000. Because I gotta pay for the arrears, pay for assignments, closing, have somebody come through and renovate. While I'm going through and renovating, guess what else is happening? I have no income. So that $18,000 a month or whatever it is, and I'm paying, what am I paying? I'm paying $7,000 a month plus utilities. I'm paying probably $12,000 a month in debt service on the property while it's vacant. How long do you think a renovation like this will go? Probably 5 months. So I got another $60,000 in holding costs while I'm going through renovation. Can you see why you haven't found a buyer yet, right? It's like, if the seller didn't have arrears, that would be awesome. Has he tried to do a loan mod yet? It would be, because his interest rate would go up. Yeah, so the challenge is, if this is gonna make me an actual $8,000 a month, it would make sense. But it's gonna make $4,000 after expenses. So let's look at that. Here, let's change these numbers. Is this on Google or on, okay, so change your cash to add, on rehab, add 150 grand. Because you're gonna have 100 extra thousand in reno, and then $50,000 in debt service while it's vacant, okay? So now I'm down to 16%. The problem is, that number here of 85, on the debt service, you gotta take it's 42. So change the basis off that. Yeah, so my cash on cash return is 4.67% if it goes well. How often does PadSplit raise its rents? Have you guys not been in business long enough to have figured that out?
You set the rent at one point, and then if someone moves out, you're able to raise the rent. And then after a tenant has been there for 6 months, you're able to raise the rent again. Yeah,
but you're not gonna be like, so for us in a regular traditional rental climate, let's say I'm just renting out this one unit, I know in every market that I have usually a 24 to 36 month time frame before I can raise the rents, let's say 12%, right? I can't just raise the rents every time a tenant moves out, because you alienate your renters. So you have to know you have to know the market. And one thing that would be helpful for me to know is, how is Vegas's rental market? How much do rental prices increase? Because if I buy it today at 4.67%, cash on cash is a complete waste of money, okay? And it's a project that's gonna be a pain in the ass the whole time. I'm like, why did I effing buy this deal the whole time? But if you can raise the rents, and on year, let's say month 24, right now I've got my 24 month, all of a sudden I can bump it to 9%, and then 24 months later I can bump it to 14%, and 24 months later I can bump it to 21% cash on cash return, then it starts making sense, and it's a long-term play.
Cool thing about PadSplit is it's not like your traditional rental. So people are moving into this unit, they can no longer see it. They can no longer see how much the other person before them rented this unit for. So if the rent in the area goes up, at that point, when that person moves out for the next person to come in, you can raise it at that time.
Interesting.
Because they're not able to see at all what the person prior rented for.
So Gio, think about this. If I gave you 400 grand, would you buy this deal? Or would you go and buy 10 single family homes at 40 grand each?
Buy the single family homes.
Right? Like what's the upside to buying this? Because you could have the best contractor, but I've never met a contractor, including me when I was a GC for 10 years, that ever hits a budget. Ever, once, never, zero, zilch, right? And here's what'll happen. He's like, I think the budget's 10 grand, so let's add 5 grand as buffer. Then you end up spending 21 grand.
What do you think, Luciano?
I think
Can we hit a budget?
Worked with me before, so you got some.
I mean, I was a contractor for 10 years, and I know I couldn't hit budget just because there's always unknowns, and that's not your fault.
There are unknowns, but I mean, what's an unknown here? What are you really going to run into? Let's say an unknown.
An unknown that you'll run into is supply chain for air conditioning units, or supply chain. Okay.
We're in Las Vegas.
What about windows?
Not a problem right now.
Okay.
Used to be. I'll tell you what. 6 months ago, 5 months ago, it used to be a problem. Not anymore.
Okay. Who says this is a deal? Who says it's not a deal?
At the numbers you ran, not a deal.
It's not a deal.
What about Section 8?
Hell no. Oh my gosh, anybody that does Section 8, shoot yourself right now. The problem with Section 8 is that now I'm under the guidelines of the government to be able to kick them out. Like we've got a 43 unit in Texas and I have 5 tenants that are Section 8 that I can't kick out without going through the Section 8 process. And they are like threatening the lives of other tenants. And my other tenants are leaving because they don't feel safe. And the 5 people I can't evict to make my property safe are the Section 8 people. That's the government. Here's what I would want to do. I would want a full estimate. AC units, windows.
Same wall units?
I don't want to do wall units.
You want to do mini splits? Or
Mini splits. Mini splits would be great. No more wall units. See, those are the things that change, right? It's like, oh yeah, we could do it for 10 grand, but that's with a mini split that doesn't get the whole thing. Not a mini split. That's with a wall hanger. And it's like, okay, well that won't work. My tenants won't like that, and I don't want to deal with that. And people mess with them all the time. So now you're $6,000 just in mini split before you even actually renovate the unit. All of a sudden you're at $72,000 in mini splits on a $100,000 budget. You see how fast things go like that? That's one change. One alteration from the thing of like, oh yeah, you know what? And then here's the other thing too. Let's say you paint the house, you paint it, make it look all nice, you add some can lights and you update the bathroom. And the stove that we originally planned on keeping, we now look at that and go, that looks like shit. And now what happens is it's not so much the contractor changes, it's that your perception of the unit changes because now everything's been upgraded, right? Okay, so here, let's run an estimate on keeping the 4 studios as studios, adding mini splits to everything. So this one would be a 2-zone. You don't need anything in the air. You don't need anything in there, but
realistically, you probably get away with just 1 zone, just make it 2 times.
Okay, so you could do that, and then the other ones, the 2 beds, you're gonna have to have at least a 3-zone, 2 bedrooms in the kitchen. The bathroom now doesn't have air conditioning, which is a problem. So you could do I guess you're gonna have to do 4 units there. I would do a budget of I would scrape all the texture, like all this texture just looks horrible. I would just orange pill everything. Just go over top, orange pill.
Yeah, just go over the top and then orange pill.
The units like this one, I wouldn't replace the tile. This looks fine, but the other ones, I bet you half the units, the tile needs to be replaced. How many tenants are in here? And how many are paying? Nobody's paying.
2 of our paying.
Section 8.
Oh, bro, just give me another layer of shit right on top of this burrito. Here's what this would be hinged on. Contractor's estimate of, let me go through every unit, let me line item everything out, and it's not $100,000. This is probably $200,000 to renovate, I would guess. And then the fact that you say that in front of the contractor means it ends up being $250,000. I was a contractor too, so no shame in the game. But then the next thing it hinges on is, am I okay dumping that kind of money into a property and sitting on it for 24 months before I can actually raise rents to a point where it would justify, right? And that would be a Mandisa question, because it doesn't sound like we actually have hard data on that. If you go into, how long has Vegas been open with?
We've been here for a year, so I can pull the numbers, and then I can pull numbers from people who've done the same thing in Atlanta.
Pull this up, Kevin. Type in Vegas rent rate increase past few years and just see what Google says. Okay, cool. How much, steadily says, how much can a landlord raise rent in Nevada in 2023? So you said 7 point what? All right, so 7%. So if you take, what's the income on this, 18,000? So you take 18,000, you multiply that by 0.1. Okay, so I could bump it up basically $1,260 every year. So an extra $2,400 a month in income, which would basically give me an additional 6% cash on cash return every 2 years. If I could raise the rents in 24 months, then I could be at 10% cash on cash return. Then in 2 more years, I could be at 16%. It's a horrible deal. I wonder how, Mandisa, do you know the answer to this question of how does the Senate change what PadSplit does in terms of rent increases?
I can't answer that question right now. Atticus can answer that question, and I will get you that answer. He's been working with Congress.
Because I wonder if renting by the week bypasses that at all.
We're a medium-term rental, so we're over 31 days up front. So we do classify paying by the week on purpose because that helps with evictions and stuff. Mm-hmm. It makes it less time to go through the eviction process.
When they sign an agreement with you, do they come in by the week or do they come in by the month?
They come in, they can pay weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly.
Okay.
So it's up
Are they signing any agreement saying that I'm going to be here for over 31 days, anything like that?
in their membership agreement. It states that they have to be within the membership for 31 days.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so then what's the total purchase price between the 3 units?
225.
No, that's probably per unit. You're not buying. You're not paying. Okay, so he's got a total debt of $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. So if I buy something for $1 million, this would give me $180,000 tax savings just this year, like real dollar savings. But is it worth putting 400 grand in to get $180,000 return? No. Because think about it. Like let's say I want $180,000 deduction off my taxes. I could go buy $1 million in real estate for less than 100 grand, already ready to rent out. All right, let's go to the next property. Let's get a full-blown construction estimate on this. Like not a guesstimate, but like a full-on estimate. Okay, let's go to the next house. Okay. Hey guys, I hope that was super beneficial for you. We'll do multiple walkthroughs of this property if I end up buying it. I think most people probably in the comments are gonna be saying this was not a deal pace, why'd you even come out? Well, here's the reality. I got an estimate from the contractor at $100,000 and I decided to fly in this morning, spend like 300 bucks to come out and actually get my feet on the ground. And immediately the estimate went from $100,000 to $250,000. So this is something that you gotta do. You gotta get out, get your feet on the ground. No matter what AI is doing, no matter what technology is doing, you still gotta get out because real estate is a physical game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Give us a like and a subscribe. We work so hard, so please give us some love by subscribing to the channel. 80% of you guys are not subscribing to the channel, so give us some love, and we'll see you in the next video.